Hello and welcome to my review of Ahsoka Season 1, Episodes 1 through 4. I will be doing reviews for Episodes 5 through 8 at the end of the season. So if you enjoy Star Wars content and reviews and want to see more, be sure to subscribe and comment below. What is your favorite type of Star Wars YouTube content? Okay, on to the review for the first 4 episodes of Ahsoka. So let me start by saying I very much like what the Ahsoka show has been doing so far from an overarching story perspective, something I think that it is accomplishing better than Mandalorian Season 3 when it started to focus a little bit less on the weekly adventures. However, I still have to give my complete and honest opinion about these episodes, so as I usually do, I will be taking a more positive recalibration route instead of an overly complaining route. Allow me to elaborate a little further. I think most fans of the show agree that it has been on an upward trajectory, only getting better with each week of the show. So looking back at the start of the series and how it was presented and structured into 8 episodes leaves me feeling like the first couple of weeks were not engaging enough for some fans to stay all that interested. And it wasn't until a later episode came out that they decided to catch up with the show. So it's fair to say I've got some mixed feelings about the first couple episodes of the show, mostly how it was structured. While some moments made for great TV and good conversation weekly, I think the first 2 episodes of the show were its worst, and that isn't good for the success overall of the show. The amount of negative reviews for the show was exponentially higher for the first 2 episodes dropping, making it really hard for the show to take off, especially when some of the criticism is valid, which I'll get to in a second. But to elaborate a little bit more on the structure, I think that combining the first 2, maybe even 3 episodes into one could have made for a more cohesive and engaging start to the season. And the fact that they actually premiered episodes 1 and 2 together even suggests that they could have benefited from a tighter narrative. The way Season 4 of Rebels ended left us with Sabine and Ahsoka together, and it didn't need to go through a minor retcon in my opinion. I almost feel like Sabine and Ahsoka could have just started the series together, searching for the map. They could have been finishing a training sequence on the ship, similar to something in Episode 3. Huyang, Sabine, and Ahsoka training, talking about what they're searching for, the map, Ezra, Thrawn, how Morgan and her minions are out there too. Once they recover the map, they could go back to Lothal together for the ceremony. Then they can meet up with Hera and Jason there. You get another chance for some exposition talking about how Ahsoka and Sabine have been over the last year or so training. Talk about how they wish Kanan was there. It's a great time to drop some exposition, and just the first episode could have covered a lot. Shin and Baylan had a pretty good introduction, and they could have kept that the same. Just do it early in the episode so that later when they come in, it's not like, who are these people? Shin can still ambush Sabine at the tower, and we can get a version of that battle. One that maybe doesn't end with Sabine dying. Getting review bombed. Getting stabbed in the stomach with a lightsaber. They're already facing an uphill battle with general audiences with an all-female led Star Wars show, which is unfairly used to deter people, but the last thing they need is some, very obvious and valid criticism like the end of Episode 1. But lightsaber critiques aside, I do think episodes 1 to 3 had some good moments, but I just think that trimming it down and speeding up certain parts would have kept the pacing brisk and preventing viewers from losing interest. This approach would not only make it more accessible to those who watch just the first episode, but also contribute to a smoother overall season flow. So in just one episode with the recalibration of episodes 1 to partly of episode 3, I think they could have accomplished most if not all of the exposition they would have needed. Providing more context on Kanan's training of Ezra and Sabine's history with Ahsoka would have enriched the storytelling and added depth to these characters. This kind of exposition can enhance the emotional resonance of the series, especially for fans who have followed these characters in previous shows. But like I said, there's still some really great moments in the first 3 episodes. I would even like to keep a lot of them in the version that I envision. Of course, we haven't touched much on episode 4 yet, which is my favorite of the first 4 because it's where the show really picks up. I actually think it would have made for a great second episode when combined with the space battle from episode 3. The space battle was really fun and the space whales were amazing in live action. It's also been really great to see lightsaber fights making a comeback in the series. I know it's been weird how little lightsabers have been in Star Wars the last few years. Since the sequel trilogy, we've only gotten one live action show that prominently featured lightsaber wielding Force users. And I know that's not what makes good Star Wars, but it's certainly fun when it's done right. Overall, my desire to see the Ahsoka character and the Rebels crew get a finish to their story has far outweighed any critiques I have when watching the show. But I wanted to really dive into some of the things I think could have made the overall viewing experience better for some of the fans who needed a little bit more. And it wasn't until maybe Anakin came back that they got back into the show. And boy oh boy, I cannot wait to talk more about him going forward. But that brings me to the end of my recalibration / review, reverberation of Season 1, Episodes 1 through 4 of Ahsoka. What do you guys think? Am I insane for wanting to change some of the things I mentioned, or could it have helped the story flow? And if you made it this far and enjoyed the video, please remember to like and subscribe for more Star Wars content. Hope you have a great night, and I'll see you in the next video.